What is an apocalypse librarian? The apocalypse librarian trope appears over and over throughout dystopian literature. It is usually a person who has survived an apocalypse or lives in a dystopia who actively preserves knowledge that would better the people around them or improve society. It's our ultimate goal to look at these characters and how they would contrast with the efforts of modern-day librarians when it comes to considering their ethics and collection development methodologies. Through this examination, we might gain some insight into how future events could pressure those aspects of modern-day librarianship. To solidify our common understanding of what an apocalypse librarian is, let's take a look at a couple of definitions. These for a modern-day library and a modern-day librarian. This is a good starting point. When you start to look for a common definition of what a library is, it becomes clear that not everybody agrees. However, we all understand what a library is, and even though there isn't a defined definition, the one provided by the American Library Association from George Eberhart's The Library Book of Lists is a pretty good one. Eberhart defines libraries as a collection of resources in a variety of formats that is organized by information professionals or other experts who provide convenient, physical, digital, biographic, or intellectual access and offer targeted services and programs with the mission of educating, informing, or entertaining a variety of audiences, and the goal of stimulating individual learning and advancing society as a whole. That's a lot, and Eberhart, to be fair, came up with this definition by amalgamating a bunch of other previous sources and definitions for a library together and including all of the aspects of those definitions. But if we reverse engineer this into its simplest form, what it boils down to is that a library is information that has been organized by someone with the idea of providing someone else access so that they can better themselves or the world around them. This is going to be important for our definition of what an apocalypse librarian is, and you can perhaps see the connection already developing and why it's important. Let's look at Eberhart's definition, and while we're here, let's pull out the meanings of a couple of other technical LIS terms that are going to come up in this video and later videos. The first one is a collection. It's defined for us very well here. A library is a collection of resources in a variety of formats that is organized by information professionals. That gets a little wonky, but I really feel like a better description of a collection is any grouping of information that is organized with intent. And that's going to serve our purposes better later on. You'll see, I promise. The second thing that we want to pull out here is kind of implied, but it is really what the meaning of a patron is. And again, this seems obvious, but it is a technical LIS term, and it does specifically mean one thing, and that is someone who is using your library and accessing information in the manner that Eberhart defines here. So if we look at collection and patron and the definition of a library itself, what is a librarian? And quite simply, a librarian is the person who's making all of this possible. They are the information professional that is organizing and cataloging and presenting and recommending and preserving the knowledge that is contained within your collection and your library so that the person who is the patron can better access it and find what they need. Armed with these definitions, let's take a look at our first example of an apocalypse librarian. Something to keep in mind here is we are going to have to adapt our understanding of what a librarian is just a bit. The things that make libraries possible are the very things that are lost during an apocalypse. A library is possible because of societal infrastructure. It's possible because of civilization. And just the very nature of an apocalypse is going to do away with a lot of that. So we're going to have to make some adaptations. In this example, we'll show exactly how that's going to happen from time to time. We're going to take a look at Cormac McCarthy's The Road, classic dystopian literature. In this novel, we have a father and a son traveling through an apocalyptic wasteland, and the father is hoping to impart enough knowledge to the son that he's going to be able to not only survive, but maybe one day resurrect the light of the world. He is going to maintain the light within that used to be humanity, and it's Papa's job and Papa's responsibility to teach him how to do that. The first time I encountered this was a blog post by Adelaide Robinson, the curatorial operations coordinator at the Museum of London. Briefly, Robinson connects modern librarianship to several media tropes that are essentially apocalypse librarians. She particularly focuses on The Road, and the idea that comes across is that not all collections need to be physical media. If the circumstances dictate and the collection is valuable and it's organized with intent, and that intent is to impart it to an individual who needs it to better themselves or society, we're pretty dead on with Eberhart's definition of what a library is and what a librarian is and what a collection is. Papa, in this case, is an apocalypse librarian. You can see this in one particular scene, which I feel like is Cormac McCarthy at his best. This is what he does. He takes a very small, insignificant scene, and turns out the entire book is about this. We enter the scene when Papa and son are sitting down and they have just discovered a can of Coca-Cola. What is it, Papa? It's a treat for you. What is it? Here, sit down. Go ahead. It's bubbly. Go ahead. It's really good. Yes, it is. You have some, Papa. I want you to drink it. You have some. Let's just sit here. It's because I won't ever get to drink another one, isn't it? Ever's a long time. Okay. If we offer some generous metaphoric intent to the can of Coca-Cola, what we're really looking at here is an exchange between a librarian and a patron. Papa has a storehouse of knowledge. He's organized it. He knows when to apply it. He takes a look at his patron, the son, understands what experiences he may have had and may not have had, and can deduce from that what his patron needs and make a recommendation. Papa is not only an apocalypse librarian, he's the collection as well. He's the library. and the librarian, and the son is the patron. It's an amazing interaction that will illustrate and play through this entire concept as we explore it. If you'd like to check out Adelaide Robinson's paper, the link will be below. And tune into the next video where we will take a look at how all of this maybe provokes some questions for how librarians will operate after an apocalypse. We'll take a look at Logan's Run, and that one's one of my favorites. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me, and remember to like and share. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at the Apocalypse Cat Librarian at proton.net.
Bring out your dad.